Welcome to the Headley Highlight Show's Headley Headspace. And this headspace is called the Peace Summit between President Putin and President Trump in Alaska to discuss a lasting peace in the Ukraine or freezing the conflict. Is that the only conversation on the table? And why is Europe freaking out because they're being excluded? Now, before we jump into that headspace, which is the peace summit between Putin and President Trump, are they going to freeze the conflict and why Europe is freaking out about it? I want to thank everyone who's been listening to my content. I'm growing fabulously. I'm now at 1,800. I think it's 58 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 2,000. So please jump up into the subscription box, tap the notification and select all. And you will see everything when I upload it. So you won't miss nothing, which I'm sure you'll feel terrible about, and so will I. So do that for both of us so that we can both be happy. In addition to that, you can also make a donation. Yes, I am very partial to free wings and chips and a Miranda, of course. Or you might want to buy me a whole Bitcoin because I accept fiat and cryptocurrencies. Because I am doing my very best to, one, stay here, keep producing the content at the level I'm producing it at, and also get myself a new PC. What can I say, people? So support that, or you might want to buy me a whole selection of food with cocktails from a restaurant that you're overly familiar with and you'd like me to participate in. That I will do for you. I'll see that as a public service. So now that we've done all of that, darlings, let's jump straight in to this week's Headspace, which is about the peace summit between Putin, Trump. It's also in Alaska, which I think is interesting. In addition to that, Europe and Zelenskyy are freaking out because they have been completely marginalized. And I also think that this is not the only issue on the table. Why? Because Putin and Trump are both commensurate leaders with experience, far more experience than the rest of those peepsqueaks in the rest of Europe. But in addition to that, they both know the value of making a good business deal. So this is my thinking. And let me just lay it out for you. I think two things, a number of things are relevant. One, the fact that Mr. Putin went to Alaska. He went to America. He flew into American airspace. And I was saying to my mum, I just hope if he has a body double, they send the body double. Because I don't put nothing past these people trying to kill Mr. Putin. That's right. Because they would love to decapitate him and take over Russia, break it up in the same way they did Yugoslavia, hollow it out, and then rinse it out. That was the plan. I mean, Russia was supposed to be Europe's Africa. Putin said no, and from that they don't like it. So I was very concerned that he was actually going to go to this peace summit, primarily because I didn't want to see any harm come to him. I mean, he is a democratic leader. He has to report to the Duma. You know, he is just one person that the West likes you to focus on as a singular individual of hatred, but he actually is a democratic leader. You know, whenever Russia has, or whenever countries have elections that we don't like, we say that they were rigged, but ours are also always so pure without any interference. What a load of bunkum. So that was my first thing that I thought was really interesting. The second thing I want to just share with you as a conclusion and a thought, I'm going to get some other contributors onto this as well, is that I think that President Trump, you know, lots of people think that Trump is stupid. Yeah, they think he's a dummy and whatever. I don't think that. I think he's a number of things, but I don't think he's a stupid person that lacks strategy. Now, one of the reasons why I think he wants to speak directly to Mr. Putin is because less people in the room allow for greater clarity. The waters don't get muddied. You know, if you bring in a third party to a debate, the third party's viewpoint perspectives then become a feature in that conversation. If it's just you and that person, that's just the two of you. This is one of the reasons why you had, you know, Keir Oleaginous Starmer holding some hollow summit to talk about, oh, we're being left out. We need to be part of the... No, you don't. You know, your sense of entitlement is causing you great hubris and also delusions of grandeur. You are a marionette. The rest of Europe's are marionettes. Europe is dead, basically, as an entity. You're just there as a war machine. And you don't get involved in big people's conversations. You know, like back in the day when your parents were saying to you, listen, go outside because big people are talking. That's the situation with you, Europe. Go outside, big people are talking, and you're not involved. You overstand. So that is one of the other side issues I've kind of brought in. But what I was trying to get to, and I've probably gone off on a slight tangent, is that Putin went to Alaska, which was a sign of willingness. That's the first thing. Then Europe was excluded, and they were excluded because they were going to muddy the water. They want to continue to fund the war because they are a vassal institution, and the days of Europe being a political power are long dead. And then what you have, which is the other big factor, in my opinion, is the business trade route opportunities through Alaska, which Mr. Putin has been and his government have been working on for some time with China to create new trade routes. And that is what Mr. Trump, in my opinion, wants to talk more about, as opposed to the green t-shirt and the Nosferatu families that fund this war, and they are interested in, Armageddon. Essentially, let's collapse everything so we can still be on top of the pile of poo, but effectively we're still on top of it, and it will create more opportunities for us to make more money. So that's the mindset. But Mr. Trump is like, how about no? I want to see a renaissance in America. I know why I've been put in here, because let's face it, he's funded by the Jewish lobby, he's funded by the neocons, and he's funded by the industrial war complex. But he still also understands that he needs to deliver for ordinary Americans. And ordinary Americans want to see investment, even if it's not investment in the way that they can see in the next electoral cycle, but maybe 2 electoral cycles from now. And don't forget the conversation I had a moment ago about this techno-feudalism. People are, they're living in a state of real kind of depression, in a way. Depression of their life experiences, what they used to be able to get, what they used to afford, life and all the rest of it. So they want something else. And he needs to deliver on that. And there is a deal on the table with him and Mr. Putin to create opportunities for greater investment through the Alaskan Belt initiatives. Do you know how many rare earths are back there? Do you know what the ice sheets melting gives opportunities for? Huge amounts of investment, huge amounts of building new trade routes. And in my opinion, Mr. Trump is more interested in that. That is the conversation that I think he wants to be having. And he wants to set the tone for that. But he also knows he's got to satisfy those people who put him in there. I'm not the only person that thinks this is possible.
Putin's Alaska meeting.
I'm going to share with you this creator. And they kind of also conceptualize what I've just shared with you.
Behind Trump and Putin's Alaska. It has almost nothing to do with Ukraine and everything to do with a deal that could possibly change the world. Most people already know that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are about to have a private meeting in Alaska on Friday, August 15th, 2025. There's no Europe, there's no Ukraine, just the US and Russia. And that's got Europe, and especially the UK, absolutely freaking out. Why do you think that is? Well, because for more than 100 years, the British Empire and now the EU have feared one thing, that America and Russia might work together instead of fighting. Because when those two get along, they don't need Europe in the middle, do they? Now, according to Promethean Action, this meeting could be about way more than stopping the war in Ukraine. It could be the start of what they call a development deal of the century. Here's what that means. The Arctic is opening up. New shipping routes, energy fields, rare minerals. Whoever builds there first wins big. The US and Russia control most of that region anyway. If they agree to develop it together, ports, pipelines, trade routes, then they set the rules. And Europe, well, they get left outside. That's lost revenue, lost tax money, lost control. And that's why Europe isn't invited. So they say, the fewer the people in the room, the faster the deal. Trump and Putin don't want Brussels slowing it down with endless ego-driven debates by the actor leaders who have no real-life experience. Think about it. How can Putin or Trump, who both have decades of experience in life, business, and politics, even begin to take people like von der Leyen, Macron, or Callas even serious?
Keir Starmer as well.
They have done nothing of substance besides act for the cameras and follow their puppet master's rules. And it's time to end their game. Trump and Putin want to see if they can freeze the Ukraine fighting and start building. Why is Europe so nervous? 3 big reasons. 1, power. If the US and Russia set Arctic rules, Europe loses its gatekeeper role in global trade. 2, energy. New pipelines and shipping could bypass Europe's control over gas and oil. And number 3, politics. A thaw between the US and Russia would wreck the EU forever sanctions. Strategy and weaken the grip on the West. And the UK, well, this hits their old imperial nerves, doesn't it? Historically, London's strategy was to keep America and Russia apart so that Britain could always be the middleman in global trade and politics. An Alaska deal flips that script, and they know it. So what does it mean for America, though? It means more economic freedom. We can open new trade routes, access new resources, and cut out the middleman. It means more power. we become a builder again, not just a buyer. It means more autonomy. We can make deals that put our workers, our businesses, and our security first without the strings of the EU, NATO, bureaucracy, or the old global order. Here's the bottom line. If this meeting works and America can get along with Russia where it makes sense, then we might finally be our own boss again. That's why Alaska matters. And that's why the old guard is so damn scared. This is getting good, isn't it?
Yes, you're quite right. It is getting good, because what this actually shows is that the Ukraine war is not as it was suggested to you. It's actually a lever for other things. And when we often see the news, it's so disconnected. We don't put all these things together. But sometimes you need to just take a breath back and think to yourself, is everything I'm being told about the people I'm supposed to hate actually true? Or who is really getting me to believe those things? So that's my thoughts about the summit. Essentially, I think the Ukraine war is a sideshow with it. The main issue there is relations between Russia and America and them working together for the betterment of their countries, and the realization of Europe and the old guard, especially in London and the city of London, that they are being moved to the side. And if that deal goes ahead, that will seriously have an impact on capital growth for those groups in the future. What's your thoughts? What's your 2 pence, your 3 cities, or your declining dollar price? Give it to me, and I'm waiting. Jump up on the mic. Do not be shy. And cut! Oh yeah, don't forget to make a donation at DeniseHeadley.com. See you next week, and thank you for your listening ears. Doodle pip, darlings.